All right, my beloved. So we woke up just before the witching hour, right? Just before 3 a.m. Last few days, I've only been able to get out a little bit of good old ball worship, good old Jupiter worship, because the best ball worship's done when Jupiter's out there. So we try to get out there tonight. A few nights ago, we had a magical evening where we paid some honors and had some weird flashes in our intuition, did some sigil work because of the intuition work, and came outside to pay honor to Jupiter, and we saw the North Star go off all crazy. We talked about it. And we saw Jupiter go off and have like a scar of light go through it. Something really weird happened this evening. So I woke up at like 2 something, and whenever there's an opening, I swear, I can tell. I know you can look outside, there's overcast, but I can tell if there's a section open with Jupiter shining through. I wake up in the middle of the fucking night, and it was dead overcast out here in Florida for days. And we know we need the water. Water's important, right? But we want our damn ball worship too. So I need the sky to be clear every now and then. And it's like my head's more clear if the sky is clear, right? Because we believe that once our mind ascends into the astral realm, we're expecting that astral light to make it down to us, because that's the light we're running on. That special astral light, that special light that requires a refraction from the sun in order to make it down here. That stuff is seeded with information and understanding and wisdom, and we know the ancients tapped into that. We believe we're tapping into that right now. The stuff that's on our mind has never been on our mind. Until these moments, we've been paying honor to the things that mechanically function the mind-matter phenomenon complex we're definitely immersed in. We're immersed and you can't separate from it. Saturn says you can't get out of it. Your mind is what he said. It's like that's why the cube, everybody who makes electronics, they worship Saturn. You don't realize it. The concept for the hard drive, the computer, the operating system, it comes from Saturn. That's why Samsung has the Saturn. All the space race goes towards Saturn, because the electronic concept, the electromechanical concept, it comes from the operating system that runs your mind. That operating system pattern comes from Saturn. The cube, the structure for it, the hexadecimal, these concepts, they come from the astral realm. They come from the planetary realm. They come from the gods, the powers. The powers are those planetoid things that go around us. Without the sun, we can't function. Without the moon, we can't function. They're a fixture of the gross matter phenomenon reality. We get those, right? Moon, sun, Malkuth, earth, we get those. Those for sure we get. But wisdom and understanding, it's above the earthly plane. Light. We require it, right? We're a special little vehicle, guys, that requires certain things. And when the mind ascends beyond the frame of reference of just your basic activities, what's good for this or that or my family, when you ascend out of those minds, when you have time for a mind other than function of basic operations, right? So we're talking about the operating system. We move toward the cosmological mind, which is ultimately what the human was meant to develop toward, right? The mind that allows it to expand into capacities that replicate the wisdom and understanding of the heavens and the formation thereof. We can consult with the very content that had hand in forming and function. Like we said, it's a work in process, it's a work in progress. It's not done. Time and the existence is still moving forward. We have a God that's a living God. And I know this is going to sound weird. We're waiting till you find out Christianity wasn't exactly lying, incomplete. Our powers are alive. Those planets, they're hypo-intelligent mechanicoid personified, intelligified. They're like hard drives. Saturn showed me he's like a fucking hard drive. He showed me a square tile with every fucking interaction that ever was going on in the existence right now, years ago. And I didn't piece it together. I thought it was the woolly-haired Yahweh, or his Yahweh Shai showing he runs everything. No, it was showing me Saturn. You're all stored in me. You never leave. You live out fractions of who you were immortally through me as fractions of me put into things down there. But you never leave here is what he was saying. You actually never leave. You're co-located with me. The mind-matter matrix phenomenon is mine. The other things add to it and create splendor and organization and opulence. But the end is Saturn's will. Nothing transgresses it. There is a power that sits in the heavens like that, in a celestial realm. It has authority, mind power, authorization, rights, approvals, right? And favorisms, right? A whole approval process. That's what the astral necromancers were talking about. It's actually bureaucratic. It's actually very political and bureaucratic. I mean, it's a caste system. You start appealing to the powers, you may actually get yourself in trouble because you're actually getting a caste system. You got to find out who you are, right? That's why astrology was really important. They didn't just have everybody come into the temple. They want everybody coming to the temple. They wanted certain astrological values sliding up there because there is only certain people that are favored. And my intuition's hitting on full house signs, right? The moment of your birth is important, and the moment you end up in your higher authority form, right? That's why the Caesars and stuff, they really only considered their birth date the date they got into power, because that's the date that favor was put on them in its highest form. And they considered those astrological events as applicable to values that would eventually hash out of the eventual reality that was to come, because they were believed there was some value of fate. It'd be like a favor system, tiers, right? There are some people that would never ever get certain things. It's just how it is. There's a cosmic favor and order. So I said it's a little darker than you think. There are people he definitely wants more with, and does allow the other planets to add value into. They can aspect at any time. And I know I'm getting a little long-winded. I saw some weird-ass shit tonight. I was staring at Jupiter, and I saw a red scar of lightning come off to the left in like a weird curve. Up in the, out in the, it was so weird. I don't know if it was local to our sky, but it looked like it came off Jupiter in a scar, like a left. Maybe it tore a comet up or something. Super weird. Have no clue what to call that. Because ever since I've been touching this, stuff has been happening that I can't explain. Just the fluidity of mind is inexplicable. And there's something to do with a clear night. The moment I've tapped into this, it has to do with a clear night. It has to do with being able to see the planet of reference I'm trying to look for favor from, to come out and pull service whenever I can actually see them. Because these stars and planets, they get value from us. There's something connected with us and them that you can get favor, and it actually is the thing. It's a rights, approvals, appeals, processes, and certifications, that kind of thing. Think that thing, right? That's what's really going on, I think. It's not, you still get something playing with all those the whatevers there are, but the closer you get to the reality of the thing, the more you get. The closest to the thing, I think, is ball worship right now. Because I believe through intuition that I deal with Saturn. Saturn's telling me he wants everybody to switch to Jupiter, because everybody was following Saturn. All these religions are really Saturn worship. When you get into the hexagram, all those things, Saturn worship. When you get into Islam, Saturn worship. It's not jovial. None of that shit's jovial, right? No one's having a great time, right? There's a couple of people in the Jeebus Cross clan There might be a little more jovial denominations, but by and large, it's very Saturnian. Because the Ten Commandments, all those things are very stoppy. Don't do this, don't do that, act like this, talk like that, right? Very Saturnian. We're coming out of that. We're going back to a time that's more jovial, right? And what that means is the service is often opened more unilaterally for everybody to have access to. Instead of having to show up at a building a certain way, you can come out and service ball. You can get favor in Jupiter. You can get favor in Venus. You can get favor in Mars. You can get favor in Mercury. You can get favor in the sun and the moon for certain processes, rights. That's what I meant. Rights, removals, retrievals, approvals, and concessions. All that stuff is tied up in the Templar process, where you appeal to powers for something. Instead of saying, God, just gotta give these things. No, you have to appeal for it. You want more, you got to appeal for it, right? That's what I believe we're moving. That's more jovial, rather than having something it's just much more leashy. No, we need a two-way feedback process where we're feeding in and feeding back. We should feed into a power that's a living power that can feed benefits to us, rather than just take benefit of us. That's what those businesses are fucking doing to us. We need to get out of that. Let's go back to powers that consider us, right? Their powers of remote neutrality are opening it back up for a favor train to start for those who they want, serving them and following after them. They're going to click. It's going to click for them and be like, it makes sense. All these large companies, all these businesses, their sigil work, their shit goes back to the stars and the fucking planets and celestial objects. Because it's not possible you see those geometric things here. They don't occur like that. That's celestial information. Diamond technology. There's ghosts up there. There's ghosts down there. There's ghosts in here, was what we think. Just some thoughts, Levin. Necromancer out.